This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi, show number 505. This is your spoiler-free place for Star Wars community and conversation. I'm your host, Dan Zayer, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. You can support Coffee with Kenobi by following the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Help spread the word by tweeting that you're listening, share it on Facebook, or invite your family and friends to tune in and share a cup of coffee with us. If you are planning on going to Star Wars Celebration, a trip to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, booking a voyage on the Halcyon, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, or going to Batuu on either the East or West Coast, be sure to go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel and work with Becky Mankin and her amazing team. You can get a no-cost, no-obligation quote and have the best service in the galaxy, and be sure to let them know that Dan Zayer and Coffee with Kenobi sent you. On today's show, I share my interviews from Lucasfilm and Walt Disney Imagineering as they talked with me about the amazing Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. I was part of the initial media event, as you've no doubt observed over the past couple of weeks. And we've got a lot of great conversations coming your way from people like Doug Chang, Matt Martin, Scott Trowbridge, and so much more. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite coffee mug, and let's have some coffee with Kenobi. First up is a dream interview for me. I got to speak with Doug Chang, the Vice President and Executive Creative Director for Lucasfilm, and Travis Feinstein with Walt Disney Imagineering about the Chandrilla Starlines logo and the aesthetics and the gorgeous tapestry that is the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Gentlemen, this experience for me, I was able to bring my family down, my wife and my 8-year-old son, and we've got 3 different levels of Star Wars fans. We've got me, my wife, who loves me but doesn't get the Star Wars thing, and my 8-year-old son who thinks he wants to live on the Halcyon. Talk about the enrichment and the joy this process has done for Star Wars, storytelling, and theme parks in general.
Yeah, I mean, that was our goal. So I'm glad you really experienced that, because we want it to be a multi-level experience so that, you know, depending on whatever level of fan you are, you can experience it and enjoy it. And so on the surface level, you can just engage in it on a very superficial level where you just are in this amazing environment. But as a fan, there's all these Easter eggs, story elements that you can totally immerse yourself into. And I think that really speaks to sort of the high level of, you know, collaboration between Lucasfilm and Imagineering, where we really combine storytelling and art to its highest level to create sort of an unparalleled experience that I've never seen before.
Yeah, getting to watch families experience this together and play together it's what we love at Walt Disney Imagineering. So being able to create an experience where families are playing together, and then to take it a next level and make it a Star Wars experience where you have people who are bringing that level of fandom and care about the type of experience that they're having and the story that we're telling. It was really an honor to be able to put that together for families.
And there are so many hidden gems through this incredible experience. Of course, everyone knows about the lightsaber training, which is incredible in and of itself. But we like a good theme. We love the decor. We love that we feel like we're in a Star Wars. When we talk about the logo for the Chandrilla Starline, that just seems to have you written all over this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. My wife told me it should be my first tattoo. Once I get over the pain thing, that might be the way. But talk about that gorgeous design.
Yeah. No, there's so many layers of that. I mean, if you look at the logo, it's actually very critical to the creator of the Halcyon in the story. It plays to the history of that. So all those things they're not arbitrary. So all the design elements that you speak of in terms of, like, you know, the bridge, all the lines in there, speak to sort of the history of design for Star Wars, because, you know, the Halcyon has a really rich, you know, couple 100-year history, and we really want to tie all that in so that you actually saw elements from way back in the prequel and High Republic era all the way to the sequel era as well. And there are elements like, you know, taking the chrome elements from Naboo, combining it with, you know, the blockade runner aesthetic for the exterior of the ship. So there's all these little things that, as film designers, we really try to create a very immersive experience where you can really follow, if you wanted to know, all the design elements and how they connect and how they evolve. That's a lot of the homework that we were doing on the back end.
Is there, so let's just talk about the room specifically, right? That portal that my son wanted open all night long, so I would wake up at 3 in the morning thinking it was daytime.
Great.
Talk about the genius of that and the creativity that went into that.
Well, I think we just felt it was important to give you your own viewport into space, because this is a ship that's traveling throughout the galaxy, and so we wanted you to have a sense that we were in motion, right? That the Starcruiser is traveling to Batuu, and that you would be able to open the viewport in your cabin and see that.
And I love that no matter where you are on the ship, you will see different things. I think in the middle of the night I saw purrgils, and it's just great, having Lucasfilm and Disney, who cares so much about stories and storytelling, pushing things forward, making dreams come true for people like me and my family. I want to thank you both so much for what you've done. I feel like I get choked up because this was the Star Wars experience I've been looking for. Thank you so much.
We're so
You're
glad.
very welcome. That's what we want to hear.
Up next is one of my favorite people in all of Lucasfilm and everything Star Wars. Of course, I'm talking about Matt Martin, the Senior Creative Executive at Lucasfilm, and of course, a member of the Story Group. And also, I got to speak with Executive Architect Greg Ashton, who I spoke with. If you watched on YouTube when Galaxy's Edge came out in 2019, and I got to do a lot of video stuff out at Disneyland, I spoke with Greg in front of the Thai Echelon, so it was really cool to see him again. So I spent all the time with him and Matt. Here's that conversation. Well, gentlemen, Star Wars and Disney once again push the boundaries of storytelling to another level, another galaxy, if you will. Talk about the work that went into creating this atmosphere as part of the story, because it works beautifully.
From the story side, it was really trying to figure out the right way to tell an interactive story for 2 days straight. It's something that I don't think has really ever been done, certainly not at this scale. And then finding the right way to add in the Star Wars layer that works both for kind of the most hardcore, adamant Star Wars fan down to the casual fan, or even the people that aren't as well versed in Star Wars and are there because they love someone who does love Star Wars. So it was all just finding the right way to piece all of those together in a story that felt cohesive and fun.
Yeah, and we actually started when we started working on the Galactic Starcruiser when we were doing the Galaxy's Edge. So it was threaded and integrated from that starting point. So it was a continuation with this great partnership that we've got between Walt Disney Imagineering and Lucasfilm. And Matt was just saying it's something that plays out over 2 nights. So we had to create a set that let you live your own journey and let you explore, but at the same time made it feel authentic and immersive. And I think it's so fun to go through all of these different spaces and kind of be surprised. And it's some ways they might feel familiar, some ways it's entirely new. But I think everybody's going to see the passion that the entire design story team delivered to kind of bring this to life.
This is truly a love letter to people who like family experiences. They love Star Wars. Of course, they love the notion of staying at a resort and a getaway. So when I was there, you've got opportunity to experience the sunshine. You've got experiences to do that kind of stuff. But you are into this world in a way that is never thought was actually possible. And that is genius. I told you earlier, I said I woke up in the middle of the night, I saw purrgils outside of my portal. Those are the kind of things that Star Wars fans are going to eat up.
Yeah, it's all about finding those little bits that appeal to every type of fan. And I mean, me, I'm a huge parks fan. I've wanted to really live the parks experience in Star Wars just like this over time and be able to step into it. And I joked about it, but it's totally true. The last time I got to do a full voyage, it was during the Super Bowl and during Valentine's Day, and I was so immersed in being in Star Wars that I didn't realize either of those things happened until I got off.
So a big thing I think that's really important is that this takes place between, just like on Batuu and Galaxy's Edge, between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And there are a bunch of things that happen. Of course, we don't spoil on Coffee with Kenobi, but I just want to thank you both because I didn't know how that was going to work with the ending. But it was so cool and added some enhancement, I think, to what happens later in The Rise of Skywalker. So if you talk about that without saying anything, is that possible? You're good at that.
Sure. I'm really good at saying nothing. But no, you're right. It was nice because Galaxy's Edge was challenging because Rise of Skywalker was still in development, pretty early development, really, while we were coming up with the story for Galaxy's Edge. But for Starcruiser, even though we've been working on it for 5 years, we had a pretty good idea of where that was going and the kind of trajectory of certain characters that we knew that Starcruiser would kind of fit right in the middle of. And so we tried to look for ways to make this sort of a bridge between those two stories, while also really making it still feel like its own thing.
Mm-hmm. I think mission accomplished.
Yeah, well, I think that one thing, that designing to this open-ended story, I think that ultimately leaves an entry point for the guests to experience it, for them to step in, because our job, from the environmental design, we've set it up. It becomes a stage for this journey to take place, but it's really activated once the guests come in and our characters really bring it to life.
They absolutely do. And speaking of bringing it to life, the crew of this vessel add so much, to your data pads, to your experience, to the different missions, and making everybody feel like they're a legitimate part of the story. That's got to make you feel really proud on a lot of levels, because it's a big risk and it pays off in a way I never thought possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is 100% my favorite part, is interacting with not just the characters, but the crew members themselves. The basically Disney cast, and everybody maintaining that they're in Star Wars makes me feel like I'm in Star Wars. And day 2, having a character come by and put their arm around me, know me by name, and bring me off to a mission, that's beyond anything I really could have ever imagined.
Yeah, and Matt and I are here to represent story and design, but really we've got it. The team is so deep. From food and beverage and operations, they're all in character, and they're all looking for these different ways to tell stories. With all of these different interactions that you're going to have and the things that you hear, it's truly it's such a bold new concept for family entertainment.
It's gonna change everything. Thank you both so much for creating this amazing experience.
Thanks for coming, Dan.
Thank you.
Up next, I speak with Bryce Schultz, an interior designer with Walt Disney World Imagineering and the project art director for the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. I also speak with Dan Brookwell, the production designer for Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Gentlemen, this experience, what Disney and Lucasfilm continue to do is push the boundaries of storytelling, of art, and of a vacation experience. And this checks the boxes I didn't even know I need checked. Talk about the pride you have with this experience, because I'm a massive Star Wars fan. My wife likes a good theme and doesn't really care about Star Wars, and my son is 8, so of course this is all heaven. Talk about how you're able to appeal to a mass audience, because it's not easy.
Well, we say for this project that Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is really for Star Wars fans and the people who love them. So it really is for everybody. And I think that there definitely is a level of pride here. Our team has really, with the help of our partners, been able to deliver the most immersive product that we've ever seen. And it's just been such an incredible experience, first of its kind for sure.
Yeah, I think it's really important to us too that we had a lot of spaces that you can, occupy. We have our lounge where you can sit and have your space cocktail. Like we have our really awesome food that we're having on our ship that is just out of this world. It was really important to us to allow you to engage on the level that you'd like to, and really have something for everybody. And I think we're definitely hitting that point. You can do the experience multiple times and have different paths every time you do it. It's there's a lot of variability to it that I think makes it.
So the big question, my son's going to want to ask this: the sabacc table. Okay, where is the at-home version that's electronic? Because I'm ready to put that in the suitcase right now. That thing, I would do this again just for that experience.
Absolutely. Sabacc is something that our fans know and love. It is inherent to the fabric of Star Wars. So for us, it really is, how do we take that and elevate it to the level of the Halcyon Starcruiser? And what does sabacc look like on board this luxury starship? It really is an incredible piece of equipment. That's great.
Yeah, we're super happy with how it turned out. It's where else can you get a holographic card game, right?
It's wild.
We had to do it, and it totally delivered.
I honestly, without any hyperbole, I probably spent 7 hours on it because my 8-year-old just wanted to keep coming back. He was running the table. I'm pretty sure he's got possession of a Corellian space fighter now because of all of this.
It happens, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
So talk about the rooms themselves, because I feel like that's a feat of engineering because, I mean, the bunk beds, gorgeous, all the symbols, all the touches, the doors, the mirror, even the television is something that I just can't get over. Like, I could have spent the whole time in there, but I didn't want to miss out on anything.
Right. Absolutely. The cabins are, not just a place for respite where guests can kind of come and, take a break. We actually wanted those to feel as equally as part of the experience because it's all on board the same ship, so why wouldn't it be? So when we were looking at the design of those, we thought, how do we incorporate Star Wars into this footprint of maybe that guest can recognize as like a cruise type cabin, right? With a view out into space. So, you see these like beautiful wall panels, these like really subtle textures, the bunks, of course, that can sleep either, a youngling or a Wookiee. They're equally as comfortable. And, rounded corners, spaces that you're not going to bump your head just in case of turbulence. So all those details kind of came into play. It's great.
Yeah, it was really important to us that, from every moment that you're in the ship, you never break that space story, right? Like everywhere you look, every window you look out tells that story that you're sitting in space and flying in hyperspeed. And so, the space windows were very important to us. So, every guest had their own view out to space. And even another thing in the rooms is D3, the droid. I don't know if you had the opportunity to interact with her, but, that's just another way that we elevated the Star Wars story in, a guest cabin where they traditionally would just be, sleeping or spending the night. It's now part of their story.
It's really weird, too, because while I'm experiencing it, I'm like, well, of course this is happening. And at the same time thinking, I can't believe this is happening, which brings me to lightsaber training. I feel like that must have been daunting because of all of our expectations ever since you're a little kid swinging a baseball bat around. You know what you want. And this thing pays off, and you throw in a surprise with these shields. Talk about that experience and what it's like for you, because we were in heaven.
Lightsaber training is one of the paramount experiences of the Halcyon Starcruiser. I remember my first time when I was able to wield a lightsaber, I was a little nervous, and the experience is perfectly tailored to those who maybe are more experienced and kind of force sensitive, and maybe those who it's their first time. So it really is its own kind of unique experience that was really, really cool to kind of build out. The room is beautiful.
Yeah, it turned out awesome. It's just a feat of technology that we were able to accomplish. And yeah, like you said, it's really for anybody. Like you can.
So we'll start with you on this one, Dan. So what about at the end sequence? There's a surprise lightsaber. Talk about that thing, and where can I get one?
That's our finale on the ship is the piece de resistance of the whole experience, right? I think it was really important to us to have this culminating moment of everybody's gone their own story paths and they're following their own journeys. Everybody's story kind of culminates at this live experience in the very end, and it had to be epic, had to be fun, and it's something like we've never done before, right? So it just paid off.
My son was leaning against me because we happened to be on the bridge helping out with some things. We don't want to spoil things on Coffee with Kenobi, exactly. And then we were ushered out of the bridge into the main atrium, and my son was leaning against me. I put my hand down on his chest, and his heart was beating so fast. And he was also smiling. So the theatricality, the stunt work, the effects, I've never seen anything like it.
It's a turbulent time in the galaxy. You never really know what's going to happen when you're kind of cruising the edges of wild space. So it's really a great kind of culminating moment, like Dan said, of your whole adventure, no matter which path you've chosen to take. There are multiple different ways to do this, and each of them kind of loops in and kind of fabricates towards the end of the finale.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for everything you did to create this experience for me and my family and for countless people across the galaxy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now let's talk with Cody Hampton. He is the Senior Manager of Brand Merchandising for Lucasfilm, and he talks about some of the cool offerings on the Halcyon, both in-world offerings as well as the things you can find when you get off the ship, and of course, that legacy lightsaber. Seriously, there are so many wonderful things, and as a big Star Wars fan, of course, merchandise is part and parcel, right? Talk about, with that kind of background information, what you had to think about when creating these unique items.
Perfect. So as you mentioned already, Star Wars and merchandise go hand in hand. They have ever since the very first film came out in '77. So with that, not only have what you see at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but this is a unique experience here at the Galactic Starcruiser. So it's a different story and requires different merchandise. And a lot of it here is upscale galactic fashion. So we want all of our guests to look their best when they come onto the ship and also tell their Star Wars story. So you'll see a lot of different types of clothing here that we've never done before anywhere else, so we're super excited about those. Some came directly from silhouettes and inspirations from the Lucas archives. So you may notice the cloak here. This item here is from Padme wore something very similar in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. That item over there, the men's jacket and robe, this is inspired by Alderaan, and you may see a scene with Bail Organa, and there's one of his security aides. It's a quick scene, but it looks so fantastic and fits perfect into our story. We also, of course, besides the fashion, we wanted to make sure we had items that, as you're experiencing the ship, we want you to have that feeling and remember that feeling as you leave the ship. So we also have items of the ship itself, from collectibles to toys where you can build, you can put it together, and then it has batteries and lights, and you can actually hear the sounds, which is really fun. You can find your cabin where you were staying at, which is really fun. We have ornaments and keychains. I think our next two stories that I'm very excited about is SK. So he is the feature droid astromech on the ship, and we have a variety of items from a wind-up to our droid factory figures that are very popular, so it goes with your series if you've already been collecting, and the RC version with lights and sounds that has the same technology and the same scale as the custom astromechs that you found on the planet of Batuu.
So I've got these two for sure. I've got the what scale is this?
This is this is the same scale as the Galaxy's Edge version.
Oh, and the Droid Depot.
Yeah, the Droid Depot.
So of course I got SK there, and I got the action figure. The design is beautiful, and as you said, it performs so fun, and it's fast, just like the ones on Batuu. But everything here is so great. And I talk about the sabacc. Like when I was on the ship, I didn't get to see those chips. I definitely would have purchased those. I mean, they've taken the game. I know Matt and the Lucasfilm team have worked on sabacc, but the design of this set is even different than what's on Batuu.
Absolutely, yes. So again, very different story. We're in the Starliner that, of course, is 200 years old, but it's freshly been remodeled, right? And the game, just like here on Earth, where we have different ways to play cards, there's different ways to play sabacc. So here in this version, there are different ways to play it, and of course, the way it looks, the way the cards play out, it is very not worn. It's very new. It's very nice. They're gorgeous, a gorgeous set.
So, Cody, my Star Wars love language is legacy lightsabers, and there's a unique one on this vessel that as soon as I saw it, I purchased it without even opening it. And then I opened it and I experienced lightsaber training. Talk about the look of that, because I know, how much people love legacy lightsabers. People are going to want to be on the ship just for that.
Well, it's exciting, and I appreciate it. Yes, Legacy lightsabers, our fans and our guests love Legacy lightsabers, which are sold at Dock and Dars on Galaxy's Edge. But yes, the one that you're mentioning is only available on the Starcruiser. It comes in a black box, which is very different than any of our Legacy lightsabers. It features the logo of the Starliner outside. When you open it, it has the same kind of details that you're expecting from a Legacy lightsaber. The design of it is modeled after the sabers you'll use in the lightsaber training, which I'm sure you did, right?
Oh, yes.
And what's also unique about this one is it comes with 26 unique Arabish characters, so you can actually personalize your lightsaber by adding your initial or something that you love. You could add that character initial onto the actual hilt.
And it's the exact same Arabic alphabet that Star Wars fans are so familiar with.
Correct, yes.
Well, hey, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So now we move on to food and drink aboard the Galactic Starcruiser. I spoke with Bobby Rivera, the chef de cuisine for concept development at Walt Disney World. Bobby, we've been able to experience the Galactic Starcruiser, and one of the highlights, of course, is the food. Disney World is known. Walt Disney, throughout the galaxy, throughout the planet Earth, it's known for the amazing kind of foods. So you've got a unique challenge ahead of you, right? Because you've got a lot of different people with a lot of different distinct palates. And you somehow managed to check all those boxes in unbelievable ways. Talk about the creation of this amazing food.
So that was a goal all along. First off, what we have here today is just a small fraction of the entirety of our menus and our offerings. But the goal was to offer unique, very interesting, very different looking dishes, but that tastes very familiar. Okay, so maybe it has a purple-looking dessert, or maybe it's a blue shrimp, or something like that. You're not sure if you want to try it, but when you do, it automatically it triggers something, and you remember.
And so you've got, and it worked beautifully. I mean, in every course, it's got a unique thing. You've got a family-style meal the first night. Then you've got an amazing cuisine that is the second night. And then you've got amazing breakfasts and lunches. And for me personally, my child had a food allergy. Mm-hmm. And, of course, as you would expect at a Disney experience, everyone was so great about that. There's so many options for so many different kinds of eaters.
Correct. We have so many different, like you said, options. Not one person will have the same meal. Especially with our breakfasts and lunches, it's buffet style, individually plated. But the great thing about that is that if you have a dietary restriction, we can customize that for that guest. Your server will remember that maybe you had a gluten intolerance or something like that, and your menu will be catered, to that, and will be unique, delivered to you.
Right, and not only that, but when you're eating your basic meals, you've also got the lounge. The Starlight Lounge, and there's some amazing appetizers and treats and snacks in there. I mean, the sriracha chips,
yes,
and the green beans. I mean,
snacks
heaven,
for all day.
Yeah,
those are fantastic. I think also the smoked cheese in the cloche. That one's a really popular one. It's just visual, smells great, and it's just very unique.
So, pro tip: I got the cheese, and I combined it with the green beans because you can mix things around.
Yeah.
And it's all fantastic. My whole family was just, can we go back and get more snacks?
Of course.
And it was great.
All you can eat.
All you can eat. Absolutely.
Yes,
is there a certain favorite that you have that you thought, wow, I know this is a challenge, but we really did something cool here?
That's like picking my favorite child,
right?
Again, the menus are so unique and different and flavorful. For breakfast, the potato roasty with the egg bite and the bacon, candy bacon on top, again, looks very cool and unique, but it's it's something that you've had before. We cannot not talk about the blue shrimp, right?
Right.
Like how unique of a presentation is that? Felucian blue ice shrimp. So again, we take inspiration from the story. The shrimp eat this blue algae that turns their flesh blue. How do we create that in a way that looks out of this world, but at the end of the day, when you're eating it's like a really delicious shrimp cocktail?
Well, thank you so much, because this was a huge part of the experience for me.
Yes.
And I can't wait to come back just to eat.
Thank you so much for being here. I hope that we are just making the experience that much better through our food and moving the story along through our dishes.
Up next is Jen Mariano. She is the project manager for the concept development team for beverage aboard the Galactic Starcruiser. So you've got a great job. I don't have to tell you that. One of the great things about Batu and now the Galactic Starcruiser is that you've got unique drinks, concoctions for all ages. Talk about the creation of some of these drinks that are unique only to the Halcyon.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to say to you that we went galaxy-wide. So it's not necessarily just to the Halcyon itself. And we wanted to make sure that all the guests who joined on to this cruise enjoyed themselves. So I will tell you that how we did start is what we were asked to do is to tell the story of the galaxy. So we were given planets, and we were given what those stories should be. And something like the Hoth icebreaker, right? So you think to yourself, Hoth, it is an inhabitable planet that nobody would want to be a part of. And so we were taken to the task of just individually ourselves making it the most wanted drink possible. So what we did was we thought to ourselves, what's beautiful in an icy environment? And the blue water that's underneath an iceberg is just amazing. So we took that and we thought, icy, so we need something crisp, so citrus was the next thing. So when you drink it, it may be very reminiscent of a lemon drop. Yeah.
That is actually, honestly, my favorite one. And in fact, when it came out, my wife said, oh, that's pretty. So because not only does it taste great, but they look beautiful.
Yes, it was that show element that we were looking for. The glass itself, which is called a dragon glass, it is iced, and then also we have that beautiful lemon foam that looks like snow on top, and then we put the ice shard, and it's all directly from Hoth. And enjoy.
You know, I'm not exaggerating, but as you were talking about it, my mouth was actually watering. It's really that good. I also had a drink, the opposite of Hoth, where I got to add some lava to my drink.
Oh yes. Okay. So yeah, completely opposite side. So the fiery Mustafarian. So we started out with, hey, what's the most popular drink on this planet, being Earth, is a margarita. So when you think of the fiery Mustafarian, we think of Mustafar. It is a fiery, lava-filled planet. So it was easy to use that mezcal, which was nice and smoky. Move to the rim. The rim has that nice black salt with peppers, and then you move to the vial of lava, which we keep in a special compartment behind the bar. And then they bring out to you very carefully. And some of our cast members, our crew members, don't even like standing around while you're putting it into your drink because they don't want to be held responsible for what happens.
And that I was going to say that the show element, of course, what you would expect from Disney, is at another level yet again. And they say, no, be careful adding this. So I says to my wife, I can add more lava, I can't take it out. So I had to be careful and tread lightly. And it was absolutely delicious, as was everything available on the Starcruiser. And Galaxy Wide, thank you so much for helping to create such an amazing experience for us.
Thank you so much for talking to us and experiencing it.
The final conversation I had at the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser media event is with Scott Trowbridge, the Portfolio Creative Executive for Walt Disney Imagineering. He is an amazing guy. I spent a lot of time with him aboard the Galactic Starcruiser. He was in character. He was a lot of fun, and he just has some really insightful things to say about this experience. And he's definitely somebody that has put a lot of, like everyone here on the show today, their heart, their soul, and their creativity into this, and it really, really shows. So first, I guess I should thank you for helping me to save the galaxy, because that was certainly the role that I took upon.
I think the galaxy owes you a debt of gratitude, and it is much appreciated.
So one of the fun things that I experienced with this voyage, experiencing with people like you and fellow guests, is that somehow you manage to capture an experience where people who are different levels of their fandom are able to enjoy this and actually be a part of the story in a way that, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, feels organic and natural. To me, that's a stroke of genius.
Oh, I'm very glad that you think that. I'm very glad you think so, because we've worked very, very, very hard to make that true. We know that people are going to come to this experience with different levels of fandom, with different levels of Star Wars knowledge, and different levels of desire to kind of lean in and engage. And so we really worked hard to try to craft a series of invitations that allowed our guests to feel comfortable engaging at whatever level they want in whichever way they want.
And you add an extra level to the experiences we're able to have on Batuu and Galaxy's Edge with an extended piece of colloquialisms that you can add into the Star Wars vocabulary too.
Yeah, that's right. Because we were designing Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser right alongside Galaxy's Edge, we worked from the very beginning to weave those stories together, to find those moments where stories that might start on the Halcyon, our Starcruiser, will follow you down to Blackspire Outpost when you make that shore excursion, and what you do down there on the planet, the consequences of those choices are going to follow you back up to the ship. So that has been part of the plan all along, and now I'm excited that we're actually going to be able to unveil that to the world.
And it legitimately happens through the data pad. An essential part of this experience is being able to incorporate technology, and it does it, again, in a way that's not distracting. It actually adds to everything.
Again, I'm glad you think so, because we worked hard on that as well. Yeah, the Star Wars data pad, which is an expansion of the Play Disney Parks app that you can already have on your phone and you can already engage with in Galaxy's Edge. We've expanded that for the Halcyon Starcruiser experience, the Galactic Starcruiser, and it does become a valuable tool to kind of help tell your story, track your itinerary. It's a great place to check in with characters. It's a great way to find out if you've been invited to a secret clandestine meeting. Ultimately, though, we want all of that technology, the data pad, all of our story engine that kind of lives behind the scenes, all of that stuff to kind of fade away. So the technology goes away, so you can just be it can help you suspend your disbelief and just have this amazing, I'm playing Star Wars experience.
It worked, and may I say, you may be one of the best dressed characters in the galaxy. A man of many wardrobes.
Yes, well, it's also fun to, when we're talking about immersion, it is helpful, and I think it's a lot of fun to actually to immerse, right? And I think that's one of the things that we do at our Disney parks is we make it's a safe place to play, right? It's a safe place to wear a funny set of Mickey ears, or it's a safe place to dress up as a Galactic senator and stride about the atrium of the Halcyon Starcruiser.
Well, as you know, my son said he wants to live aboard the ship. and one thing I said to my wife, what do you wish you knew when we started that you know now? And she said, I wish I knew to dress up. And she is someone who's a very passive Star Wars fan. But as you said to me the other night, it's for Star Wars fans and people who love Star Wars fans. Mission accomplished, sir. Thank you so much for helping to put this together and crafting an amazing experience. Of course, Disney and Lucasfilm always pushing the boundaries of storytelling. This is another level.
Well, I appreciate that. We are so anxious to make sure that we are serving our fans, both the Disney fans and our Star Wars fans. I mean, it is those folks for whom we do this work. So can't wait to invite them aboard.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Appreciate it. It's been fun chatting with you all weekend.
Thanks for spending 2 days with us.
Whatever it was. My pleasure.
And thank you for saving the galaxy.
Oh, my pleasure.
Mostly.
Thank you. Yes, mostly. For the most part.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is...
Wow. What a great round of interviews. I'm so excited I got to be a part of that. I want to thank Doug Chang, Travis Feinstein, Matt Martin, Cody Hampton, Bobby Rivera, Jen Mariano, Greg Ashton, and of course, Scott Trowbridge for everyone for their hard work in bringing this incredible experience to life. We are certainly talking quite a bit here on Coffee with Kenobi about what a great time it is to be a Star Wars fan. Between this, the Kenobi trailer, Celebration coming out in a few months, there's going to be a lot of Star Wars, and Coffee with Kenobi is going to be here to have a lot of fun conversations for each and every one of you. I want to thank all of you for joining me throughout this experience, and of course on CWK Live every Monday night. I also want to thank MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. If you would like a no-cost, no-obligation quote, which will help you plan your magical vacation and support Coffee with Kenobi, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. And remember, in the summer of 2023, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel and myself will be asking you to join us on the Galactic Starcruiser. More to come as we get closer to the actual dates when they are opened up by Disney. On CWK Live, which is Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to start looking at Star Wars Rebels from Season 1, Episode 1. It just seems like a perfect time to go through the series together, especially with what we've seen from the Kenobi trailer. Go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/live or www.facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi. Join us in the CWK Cafe, which is our Facebook group for Star Wars thoughts, comments, reviews, and opinions in a family-friendly, spoiler and drama-free place. You never know who's going to show up and join the conversation with you. Speaking of showing up, every week, the CW... I don't know why it's speaking of showing up. I could probably do a better transition than that. Anyway, the CWK Alliance is the place to go to support Coffee with Kenobi. You can also get access to CWK Pour-Over, which is an audio and video exclusive weekly podcast not heard anywhere else, where we look at Star Wars, popular culture, and go behind the scenes of what goes into making the show. So you get something out of it, but we also use part of your contributions, 10% of them in fact, to go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. If you want to become a member of the CWK Alliance, again, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/support. Star Wars news, announcements, reviews, videos, and so much more are available on my website, www.coffeewithkenobi.com. If you want to email me, feel free to do so at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com. Connect with me on Twitter at Mr. Zer, MRZEHR. My Instagram is DanZerCWK, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Coffee with Kenobi is all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok. You can give the show a like on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi, or subscribe to Coffee with Kenobi's YouTube channel. Please take a couple of minutes to rate and review the show on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. If you'd like to get a Coffee with Kenobi t-shirt, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/shop. There are also some stickers and some really cool other items as well. If you are starting a podcast or blog, or already have something in existence and want to expand your brand, go to danzmedia.com, where I can help you get that process started. I'm also available to come to your school, conference, business, or organization to talk about how to tap into your strengths and help you bring out your very best. This is your time and your chance to take that first step into a larger world. Thank you again so much for joining me on a very exciting week of Coffee with Kenobi. I had a couple live shows with the Kenobi trailer and, of course, more Galactic Starcruiser coverage. Next week, I will be bringing you some tips on how to get the most out of your Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser experience. I'll be joined by two very special guests you certainly will recognize from the world of podcasts and travel. Enjoy this bonus episode today. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. And remember, this is the podcast you're looking for. Thanks again, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.